Hey guys.
Kelly.
Psst. Psst, psst.
Kelly. Kelly, cut your hair. Cut your
No.
hair. Kelly, cut your hair.
No! These silly little scissors are kind of obsessed with my hair. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. If you didn't already catch the title, well, today we are back with a very special DIY, and I'm going to be making my very own anti-AI starter pack. Generative AI is very lazy and gross and soulless and dumb and stupid and nasty and ew. It's gross. But much more importantly, tech giants like Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, and Google are putting Black and brown communities at high risk by increasing local air pollution, increasing energy costs, and elevating the risk of climate disasters like heat waves and flooding through their immense data centers. And I am challenging you right here, right now, to educate yourself on this very important topic. I will have resources linked down below. Please just use your privilege, use your voice, and use your platform. Those are such immense, powerful things that anyone and everyone can do. Now is the time to put those supposed morals of yours to work. Don't stay silent. This recent and very dumb trend of people and even brands making their own AI starter packs makes my blood boil, to say the least. And so today I'm going to be using my very own AI, my actual intelligence, to handcraft with my own intelligence and my own physical capabilities. And I'm going to be making my own starter pack using all repurposed and upcycled trash, and I am very excited, and so let's just hop right in.
She's flipped up with these horrible DIYs. She's turning these flimsy flops into fierce fixes. This is Flipper Upper.
I very recently got into making miniatures, like when I made my very own itty bitty teeny tiny little small home for my baby calico critter. And I made a full video on this, so if you want to see how I made everything in here, here's the video. But today I want to go even further, and I want to make my very own doll, different hair, different accessories, different outfits, and even their very own display case, all out of recycled objects. Because I will be using a lot of trash and all that jazz, there will be many brand names being shown throughout the video, and I just want to say that this video is not at all sponsored or affiliated with any products or brands shown or mentioned. When I was designing the overall design of my doll, I got a lot of inspiration from fellow creatives here on social media, from all of the gorgeously hand-drawn starter packs on IG. There were so many that I saw, but these are just the ones that really popped out to me. So go support and follow those artists who use their own actual intelligence. But also this amazing video that I found from fellow YouTuber Carrie's Cuttlefish, like they literally made their own doll.
What?
That's kind of what really sparked this idea. Like they used like an actual doll. I will have that video linked below, go check it out, it is so cool. But I am also taking inspiration from one of my all-time favorite movie franchises that I cannot even disclose here, because if I do, that movie studio could potentially take all revenue that I make on this video, even though I'm not even monetized yet. And if you want, feel free to subscribe and watch this video all the way through and leave a like and share it with a friend, because that'll really help if you want. But I digress. Movie studios like Dream Wonks and Pruniversal do not like when people talk about their movies or literally anything that they do. It's weird, even if I'm simply disclosing that, hey, this is literally one of my all-time favorite movies ever, and I'm only talking positively about it. They're like, no. No. So I will mainly be taking inspiration from one of my favorite movies. It is a troll-like movie, kind of colorful, lots of singing, lots of fun, cool animation. I can't tell you what movie it is though, but in that movie they love to do arts and crafts, and they make their own little books out of fabric and like felt and yarn and glitter, and I am obsessed with that. And so I want to take inspiration from that. But another movie franchise that I'm taking inspiration from and I can talk about is the Pixie Hollow movies. I grew up watching those, and I know they're very different from the books and the lore and everything, and I'm not getting into that now, but I'm acknowledging that. But anyways, I love those movies so much, and watching those throughout the years, I've just always been so obsessed with the Tinker Fairies and how they just reuse everything and they repurpose stuff that they find, and I'm like, I want to do that too. And so that's also gonna be the inspiration. But that's the plan, Jan, so enough jibber jabber. Let's get into this video. Olive loves to assist whenever I DIY on the floor, and she even made sure to warm up my paper beforehand. How kind. Before I get started on any of my projects, I always like to make some sort of blueprint so I can get a good visual of the overall plan. I sketched out a 2D version of the doll, and not to toot my own horn, but this is a pretty good sketch. I then laid out some white fabric and as I was saying, I flattened the fabric out and can the Mucinex man just leave me alone? Oh my god, now Olive's getting into everything. So I finally laid out my fabric, and I made sure to double it up so that I can have a front and back to the doll. And I just don't want to make a flat Stanley. So I cut out the sketch of the doll and pinned that onto the fabric and began to cut. And here's where I first messed up. I did remember to give myself some seam allowance, however, I made the limbs and hands way too small, and you'll eventually see just how tiny they turned out to be. So my flat Stanley doll is all pinned together, and now it's time to sew both sides together. However, I do plan on flipping this inside out so that I can have invisible seams, so I'm going to stop at the head and flip it inside out from there. This took a terribly long time, and it didn't help that the doll was so tiny and my nails kept getting in the way. But
1 million zillion jillion dillion cotillion times later.
After many more sneezes, I eventually sewed the body together. As you can obviously see here, the fabric itself is fraying like crazy, but luckily I did do the world's tiniest stitches, so everything should be a-okay. I cut off the excess fabric around the body and began to attempt to flip the body inside out. I had to do this off camera because I was about to explode with anger because, like I mentioned before, I made the limbs way too thin. So I had to take a pair of tweezers, a pencil, a seam ripper, and lots of patience to get those limbs flipped. But I eventually did it. At this point, I genuinely wanted to say screw it and just give up because I could not see my vision coming to fruition. But I just continued by stuffing the doll with this random bag of stuffing that I've had since my childhood and went to town. Using a thin object like a pencil or even a cotton swab is your best bet for stuffing limbs, and it took me a good hour and a half to do this, so thank God there's American Dad to watch. So I continued stuffing the body, and I finally was feeling confident with the look of it. I finished it up by sewing the head together and redoing some of the arm stitching because it came undone in some areas, and eventually, voila! I had to take a break from the doll due to the immense amount of stress it was causing me, so I moved on to making some of the accessories, starting with Olive. I decided to recreate my real-life cat in the form of a felt stuffed animal. I attempted to trace out a cat-like figure with this fabric chalk that has never failed me before, but it was just too big for the small DIY. But it kinda worked out. I had to get Olive's approval before sewing it together, and I think she liked it. Now it's time to make this doll some clothes. In my blueprint sketch, I wrote down that I wanted to make 2 outfits, one of them being a girl boss business outfit, and the second being an everyday kind of cozy / sleepwear fit. I had many random pieces of fabric, and this pastel blue felt was the perfect choice for making some comfy lounge pants. I measured the length of the pants, then folded that fabric in half for the front and backing, and then pinned that in place. I cut straight down the middle, stopping about 3/4 of the way up to make sure that there was room for the waist of the pants. I pinned the sides of the legs together and got to sewing. I used this gorgeous baby blue that perfectly matches the fabric from my giant stash of secondhand thread. The pants went by in a flash, fortunately, and they fit pretty well, but they were kind of baggy. So I decided to make a drawstring by threading a pop of purple through the waistband to snatch and secure the waist, and it looked kind of okay. I was not at all happy with the outcome, but I did want to add more of that purple to the bottom of the pants for another pop of color. To zhuzh up this cozy outfit and to make it look even more like PJs, I made my very own itty bitty eye mask to match the pants. I just measured around the head of the doll, cut to size, and then shaped out some goggle looking pieces and sewed that into a loop to slide over the head. And that's literally it. Now it's time to make a top. I had this random fabric scrap from when I cropped a tank top a while back, and if you weren't aware, this ribbed-like material is oh so retro looking, so I figured that it would make the perfect little turtleneck. Plus, the pastel goes swimmingly with the blue. I lightly wrapped the fabric around the doll's torso and pinned it along the body and arms to make a generic shape. The process of making the shirt could have been simple, but it was just a struggle for me. Prior to this, I have never made my own clothes from scratch. I've mended and altered some pieces, and this really just unlocked a new part of my brain with rusted gears, and it was just a constant brain fart for me. So I cut out the sleeves and rolled them up for some pizzazz, and began sewing the arm pieces together. After a while, it was finally coming together. I then put the pants back on to see how everything looked, and that's when I made the executive decision to remove the drawstring waistband and to just narrow the pant legs. I took the same blue thread and started from the knee, moving upwards and inwards to narrow the hip area. And then I secured that and I simply cut off the excess fabric. And just to make sure everything was intact, I went back down the entire leg again to ensure that no threads would come loose. I wanted to create some matching footwear for the outfit, and I decided to use more of that same lavender fabric. To make it simple, I pinned the fabric around the foot of the doll, cut off the excess, and sewed around the border of the fabric. Once that was knotted and secured, I simply flipped the shoe, slipper, sock, whatever that is, inside out to reveal a smooth seam. Though one sock turned out great, the other kind of turned into an elf shoe, but I was quite content with the outcome. Now it's time for some hair! I recently got practice making mini 2D dolls in fabric-based hair when I filmed my little twin stars Kiki and Lala ornament video. But once again, trying to make a 3D version of something that you've only ever made 2D made my gears grind. So I eventually just took some fabric, laid the good sides together, pinned a generic shape around the doll of the head, cut off the excess around the pins, cut a shag-like shape into the fabric, and that was it. Just like the clothing, I sewed it together with the good sides facing in so that I could flip it inside out to reveal smooth seams. And this time around was much easier when it came to flipping, thankfully. At this point, the hairpiece was basically just an unstuffed pillow. So to put it on the doll's head, I simply cut a slit in the middle on one side only and then cut out a bang shape. This pretty much acts like a headband hat situation so that it can slide on easily. Why'd I say that so weird? I had been procrastinating on what to do for the face, but now that the hair was in place, I just had to get it over with. So I took some fabric pencils and dotted on some eyes, a nose, and a mouth. To make it more permanent, I then became the other mother from Coraline and sewed on some eyes, but only with thread, no magical buttons. Or did I? Who's ready to get into business mode? Because it's a girl boss outfit time. My outfit design for this look is based off of one of my own personal favorite pantsuits, this gorgeous black and white retro colored sleeveless fit. However, this time around, we're gonna give it some color. I chose the same mauve fabric that I used for the hair, and this beautiful deep maroon fabric that we actually used to make a DIY American Girl doll bed many years ago. Starting with that maroon fabric, I began by making the slacks. I pinned around the edges of the doll. I pinned around the edges. Oh my fucking god! I pinned around the edges of the doll's legs and down the middle and between the legs and trimmed it to size. I then decided to add another pop of purple by using that stunning jewel tone, and I went and going all the way around the edges, leaving the bottom of the legs open. And so I sewed that all up while jamming to Kylie Minogue, and her good vibes really transferred through, because look at how cute these turned out. Though of course I should have narrowed the pants on the hips, but we'll worry about that later. I then moved on to the top of the pantsuit, and to make things very simple for myself, I just followed this very easy blueprint on the mauve fabric. I sewed the sides together using that same jewel tone thread, and decided to snatch the back of it by folding the fabric over and sewing it. I then fortunately found some matching buttons and sewed those onto the front of the vest. To snatch the pants, I simply gathered and evenly folded the back of the pants together and then pinned that and sewed it in place. This girl boss needs a bag! I took the same black felt that I used to make the mini olive and actually I brewed up a blueprint for this in my own noggin, so that's a slay. I copied that pattern onto the fabric and cut it out. I really wanted to use more of that purple thread to add a pop of color on the bag, but I was just so tired of hand sewing at this point, and fabric glue exists for a reason, so I just glued the seams together and ta-da! I made a little bag, and then I used some of the leftover scraps to make a small strap and attach that with glue.
I love to get in microwave dresses.
Now onto the shoes. Boy oh boy was this a struggle. I attempted to recreate my first shoe design by sewing and flipping it inside out, but this is felt, so it ended up looking like this. Yikes! So I then found a very simple shoe pattern that's basically a slipper, and I did that. I'm deeply sorry for this terrible shot, but I cut out the shoe sole, cut out a rainbow shape long enough to cover the sole, and glued down the seams, folding over the excess on the back of the heel and cutting off any excess fabric. I hope that makes sense. If it does not, please just watch. I plan on creating a display case for the doll along with many more accessories, so allow me to show you my recently organized crafting setup where I keep all of my supplies. I was debating on what scale everything should be until I saw this plastic casing from our water replacement filter, and I instantly knew that that would be perfect for the doll. And then the very next day, I finished up a box of wheat thins.
Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
What are you talking about? I'm just saying wheat thins.
Say wheat. Wheat. Now say wheat thins.
Wheat thins.
Wheat thins.
Wheat thins.
Which is the exact same size of the plastic case. So I'll be using that as the display box. The box was ripped open by someone who does not have a delicate touch, so I grabbed my trusty glue stick and I put that back together. Since the width of the box was rather wide for your average doll, I decided to take a scrap piece of cardboard to decrease the square footage of the box. I measured a piece to be slightly smaller than the box so that it could slide in, and I folded some U-shaped cardboard pieces to raise the walls outward. And once again, I hope this makes sense, but if not, please just watch what I'm doing. As much as I love myself some groovy tie-dye wallpaper, I had something else in mind to zhuzh it up. I had this leftover backing from scrapbook packaging that looks exactly like a hardwood floor, so I cut that to the size of the box and shoved that in the bottom to be the floor. I then chose a beautiful pink and blue floral page from my cardstock collection, and I cut that to size and made the wallpaper for the walls and ceiling. I then took a break from the box and moved on to making some accessories. I began by making art supplies. Over the years, I've collected a few of these micro tiny pencils that are typically used for keeping score with sports and other events, and it was the perfect size for my doll. I also wanted to make my own mini paintbrush by slicing up an old Capri Sun straw that I also used to make Lala's wand and the head of a broken paintbrush. At first I just cut off random bristles, but of course they just flew everywhere. And then I thought, why don't I just glue the top together and then cut the bristles? And so, that's what I did. I then cut both the pencil and paintbrush to be the exact same size. Back to the box. I primed the entire outside with Bob Ross's favorite color, titanium white, to prep it for a beautiful pink shade. And while that dried, I made many more accessories, starting with a miniature paper bag by cutting a small rectangle from the scrap paper, folding the sides in hot dog style, and gluing the seams together. To make a handle, I simply folded over the paper and cut out a small slit to make a handle. Oh, and then, not sponsored, but I saw Hayden Christensen in a Monopoly Go commercial and it made me laugh. I don't know. To accompany the bag, I made a trash poker. I've acquired many different lengths of skewers recently, and this one happened to be the perfect size. So I used silver, black, and pink markers to color it. I very quickly realized how dumb that was because all of the color was coming off on my fingers, so I just simply painted right over everything with matching acrylic colors. Within the last year or so, as I've been getting more into miniatures, I had seen people making small balls of yarn by taking a bead and using thread to cover the bead. So that's what I did. I attached one end with a dab of glue, then attached the other to my needle and weaved the thread up the middle and down the side, over and over again. To accompany my mini paintbrush and pencil, I decided to add some color by taking these fake crayon buttons and snapping off the back. That's literally it. This girl boss could not properly girl boss without a potted plant, so Olive helped me pick out this cute little flower bunch that had fallen off a faux flower garland a while back and patiently waited as I filled up a thimble with hot glue! I forgot metal heats up, so use caution. That is hot metal. I then made this girl boss their own reusable cup and straw. I took the same floral cardstock that we used for the wallpaper and glued that into a cylinder. Bobby pins are a big help for small projects like this. I then glued a scrap of that same paper to the bottom, and then when it all dried, I cut it to size. I then used the very last bit of that Capri Sun straw as, you guessed it, the straw. As a girl boss and content creator, having some tech can be a big help. So I took some cardboard scraps, cut that into a rectangle, folded that in half hamburger style, and scored it slightly with the blade so that it could bend more easily. I decided to recreate my very own laptop by painting the piece in silver and gluing white paper to one side to act as a screen. I also made a simple camera by painting a wooden bead all black. And I'm gonna stop talking here because I decided to vlog and explain the whole thing. My idea is that this will be the body of the camera. I have this little leather punch out thing, probably from a belt. I'm thinking that'll be right in the center. It's kind of big, but oh well. I'm thinking that'll be the lens, and then this can also be a part of the lens. It's just a little jump ring, and then I'm thinking there needs to be a shutter. I have this odd little plastic bit. It's kind of weird, the shape of it, but I feel like that'll be cute, and then I could paint a little silver circle to be the flash, and then I can make a strap out of this fabric because it's a bead and there's a hole on the side for the strap to go through. Okay guys, I finally cut my hair off. JK. So, while I'm sitting down here in this creepy basement, it ain't that creepy compared to other basements. in movies. But while I've been sitting here, I'm looking at all of my art stuff. There's a giant shelf right here that I might show you, maybe, but there are all of my paintings in front of me. These are not all of them, just all the ones that I don't have out on display or I've given away. So, but it's a lot, and I still have many more that are currently hung up, and I do have photos of others that I've painted and given away to people. So this is just a reminder for me, and then I guess I'm also kind of asking you guys, are you interested in seeing an art tour? I've kind of hinted at this before, but I've just been wanting to do it, mainly because there are some pieces that I do want to get rid of, but of course I just want to show them off first. So I'm thinking that I will dice it into sections, so one will be for painting. I would do that first because there are a few that I just want to get rid of, but I have sculptures, I have well, I guess that would be ceramics. What else do I do? I guess, okay, sculptures, what would count as a sculpture? Because like a ceramic could be, but also like a sculpture could literally be like a DIY that I'm doing. So I don't know, I'll have to think about this, but one section will definitely be for painting. So yeah. So after I decided to do a random vlog, I then got back to working on the box. But not before I showed The Secret Life of Pets to my grandma, in which she said, "How did these people come up with these crazy stories?" And this made me smile. With most doll boxes, there will be some sort of bio or description about the doll, just basic things about them like their preferences and who they are as a person overall. So I got to work on making just that. I drew my doll on some paper and then added different things like their sign, occupation, their likes and dislikes, and a short blurb about who they are. I then used some fancy scalloping scissors and glued that to the back of the box. To add some pizzazz to the box, at the top I wrote, "Girl Boss Starter Pack," in English, y en el español, la jefe entrada paquete, and added some other personalized touches that we'll see in the reveal. In order to display the accessories that we made, we'll need some shelving. So I took 2 pieces of cardboard, bent them at 90 degrees, and used some hot glue to glue them in place, and gave them 1 coat of titanium white to blend in. I'm including this to show that I'm not always perfect, but my letter painting is something, and yeah, the font was rather tiny, so I ended up putting a paper-drawn version on top of that section. To make the other lettering pop, I added a pastel pink as a border, and that really did the trick. I then decided to add these flowers to the shelf because why not, you know? To showcase the second outfit, I bent a paper clip into a hanger shape and used one of my many bread tabs as a clothing rack, and this blue matches perfectly with the wallpaper, so that's a sleigh. I then did some finishing touches to everything, and just like that, it was complete. And now it is time for the final reveal. So I may have bitten off more than I can chew with this video. I mean, it's been like 3 weeks. It's taken me literally 3 weeks to do this video, but I got it all done. As you may have been able to tell in that B-roll, I was very sick. I was coughing and hacking and my nose was trying to run away from me, and the Mucinex man would not leave me alone. And he's still kind of here, but he needs to leave, okay? Anyways, so I do apologize for the lack of content, but I mean, here's something else, right? So let's talk about the box and everything that I love about it. Oh my. So many birds. So yeah, I do love a lot of things about this, but there are some things that I wish I could change, so I guess let's talk about that first. So as you might be able to tell, there's nothing there. There's only plastic covering the doll with the shiny bits there, as you can see, and then of course the little accessories. I really wish that I had just found a giant like sheet of plastic that I can put on the inside of there to be like a full like case cover type of situation. Like this is fine, like at least like the doll is in there and that can stay because I built like a shelf and then a little hook for that, but like things are gonna fall out, you know, if I don't keep this upright, so I gotta figure that out. I mean, I will probably add a plastic sheet on this once I do find something, but for now, it's fine, it's fine. Another thing, you can probably see better in the B-roll, but it was very difficult to paint small letters. I would say I'm pretty good at painting, but when it comes to like painting letters, I don't know, it took me a while. That I'm very proud of. That turned out very well, but I mean, like, I don't know, like it could have looked better, but it looks okay. It's fine, I'm content with it. Also on the side here, I have the flap covered, or the flap is closed and is secured with a little twist tie, and the blue does match all the other blues in there, which I'm fine with, but like, I don't know, I wish I had like a cute ribbon or something, and also like, it's just closed there. I wish it was like flat all the way around, so maybe I could do more in the future. I don't know. But let's talk about the things that I do like. So, I mean, this is pretty much my vision come to life. So that's good. I love all the pink on it. I'm glad I did a little bio thing, like about the doll, whatever, all that stuff, because my assistant reminded me, and so I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. So yeah, and I did more on the side, and then like, hey, this is me, the doll. Look at my stuff. And then yeah, of course, no AI, very important. But yeah. I'm really happy with the wallpaper and everything, and I know you can't even see it now, but I did a cute little floor. It's like a wooden floor. That's what it's supposed to look like, but it's fine, it's cute. And then I did some en Espanol, and then there as well. I feel like that's usually on doll boxes, but also why not, you know? Oh, another thing that I don't like, I wish I could have covered that up more. Like, I should have made that like skinnier, thinner. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I'm very proud of the clothing. I have never actually sewed my own clothing. Like, I should say I never have made my own clothing. So this is like a first for me. Like, it turned out okay. You know, I'm happy with it. Oh, something I'm very proud of, my little laptop here. I'll throw up a photo so you can see. That's what my actual laptop looks like. Oh, Olive? Hello, I made my own cat into a little stuffed animal. Cool. But I'm very happy with all of the accessories and everything, and that was just a really good start for my miniatures that I will be doing more videos on, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It could have been better, but it could have been a whole lot worse, okay? And yeah, I used my actual intelligence to make all of this, so I guess that's the main thing, right? No AI. Another thing that I wish I would have done differently. So as you saw in the B-roll, like the backing there, it's probably like, it starts there, so it's just empty space back there, which I don't mind. Like, I think that was a good idea to like make it like pushed out a bit so that everything isn't so like far back in the box. But I should not have glued everything. I should have just made like a little like pull out thing, so that way I could have just like twist tied like the doll and everything in there, you know? But it's fine. It's fine. But going back to the positives, I mean, hello, this is literally all made out of trash and scrap fabric, and I mean, well, some of the accessories are just like random little doohickeys that I already had, but you know, But yeah, I hope this can inspire you and motivate you to be artsy fartsy and just use your actual intelligence to make and create and just be creative. Do stuff, do art, make art. Be creative. Life is, oh, black squirrel. That's the bunny's house. Oh, it chased out a brown squirrel. Oh my God. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Oh my God, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. Oh my God, leave him alone. Oh my God, he's literally chasing him away. Fight back. Anywho, life is way too short to not do the things that you love. It's way too short to not be creative. It's way too short to waste the Earth's resources with using generative AI, okay? Generative AI is nasty and gross and ew. So just always remember that. But always remember to use your actual intelligence. Don't give in to technology. Don't give in to that poo-poo caca, or as Pops once said,
it's poo-poo with a dash of caca.
Over the years, or just more so recently, I should say, I have heard many older folks, when I say older, I just mean older than me, okay? They say stuff like,
Oh, if I were younger, I would do this.
or like,
I wish I was your age again because I would love to pursue this.
or
I wish I could go back in time because I was so artsy and creative.
just do it. Just pull a Nike and just do it, okay? You are never too old, too young, too whatever to not use your actual intelligence and be creative and be artistic and express yourself and pursue your passions, okay? It's never too late to pick up a pencil. It's never too late to mold some clay. It's never too late to learn how to sew. It's never too late to paint something on a canvas. It is never too late, okay? That's what Kylie Minogue once said in her song, It's Never Too Late. She's like, it's never too late, we still got time. It's never too late, you can still be mine. It's never too late to change your mind. I didn't know Kylie Minogue was in the house today. First of all, a banger. But second of all, what an incredible message. It's never too late to change your mind. It's never too late to educate yourself. And it is never too late to pursue your passions and hobbies and just... But then she also has a song called Time Will Pass You By. Time will pass you right on by. It's the same vibe, but just a different song, you know? Before you go, please take a moment to visit the very important links down below in the description and in my bio, and even in the comments as well, to learn more about the ongoing genocide throughout Palestine and East Turkistan, and the child labor, slavery, and genocide throughout the Congo and Sudan, and to learn how you can help those affected by the California wildfires through CORE. Not sponsored, but I really like what they're doing. They are doing tremendous things to help those in need. So please share around that fundraiser along with my friend Sam's GoFundMe, as she was recently involved in a devastating T-bone car crash. Please share those fundraisers around, and any amount donated will help those in need. So please use your privilege, use your voice, use your platform. It is never too late, okay? Put those so-called values of yours to work and treat people the way you want to be treated. I don't understand. I don't understand how people can just sit there and be silent, but treat people the way you want to be treated. And remember to be kind to yourself by pursuing your passions, be kind to others by not stealing their work and giving them credit when you repost and take inspo, and be kind to the earth by not using generative AI because it is terrible for our environment and also has terrible effects on our communities. So, I truly hope you enjoyed this video and this lovely little DIY that took me almost a month, but whatever. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing and turning on my post notifications. And if you made it this far, comment, protect the dolls, okay? This is a safe space for people of all identities, okay? This always will be. No bigots, no haters allowed. Get your misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic ass out of here. We don't like you, okay? Have a super wonderful day. Pace, positive attitude changes everything. That's what Barbie said, okay? Okay. Okay. I will see you on my next live stream or video, and I guess that's it. Bye! If you didn't already catch the title, well, today is a very special video because I'm gonna... My idea, oh my fucking... Oh my god. I might one day.